Feeling overwhelmed? Searching for someone who truly gets it? At J. Branch and Associates, we provide mental health support for BIPOC communities, Black, Indigenous, and people of color, and others facing unique challenges. We understand the weight of generational trauma, the struggles of identity, and the pressures of being a part of an underestimated and overlooked group. At J. Branch and Associates, therapy isn't a one-size-fits-all. We create a safe, culturally aware space where you can feel seen, heard, and understood. Finding a therapist who truly fits you matters, and that's exactly what we're here for. Our team of highly trained licensed therapists bring compassion, empathy, and real-world experience to help you on your journey to healing and growth. We're committed to helping you become the best version of yourself. Ready to take the next step? Visit us at www.drjbranch.com for more information, or call or text 404-436-2540 to schedule your free 15-minute consultation. You can also book your first session today. Thank you for choosing J. Branch and Associates, therapists of color providing exceptional care to BIPOC communities, quality service, exceptional care from authentic professionals.
Three parallels. Yeah. Three parallels. Yeah. Three parallels.
Three Parallel Podcast. Come take this walk with me.
Welcome back to Three Parallels Podcast with your host, the Dr. Jason Branch, where we rediscover who we once were, embrace who we are, and make room for who we're trying to become. On today's show, we're going to talk about the junk drawer. Yeah, we going there. But before we get into the junk drawer, we're going to talk about a few other things. But I hope you were able to get your needs met from the first episode. And I hope that you brought some friends with you for the second one, because we're building something and I'm learning as we go. So let's dive in. We talked last week about the house analogy. Part of the house is the attic, the living room, and the basement. The basement is where the magic happens, the living room where we are present, and the attic is in our mind. And as you know, in every house, many of us have a junk drawer. What is a junk drawer? I'll help you. A junk drawer is that place that's in your house, that closet, that cabinet, that drawer, that space that's designed for things that don't work. Yeah. I know exactly what I'm talking about. More often than not, it's found in the kitchen. Right over there. Yep, over there. Right in the kitchen. There's a drawer that's usually established that you put things in that usually don't work, that you don't need, that you don't use, but it's a belief that we have that one day I will. One day I might need it. Not sure when you'll ever need a battery that's dead. Not sure when you'll ever need a penny that's turned green. Not sure you'll ever need a coupon that's expired. Those are just a few things that come to mind when it comes to a junk drawer. But many of us have it. And I want to share some information about the junk drawer because many of us can relate to it. The junk drawer I equate to the equivalent of a math equation. So, being a therapist, math is not my strong suit, and I have no desire to sit up here and teach or talk about math. But for the sake of this discussion, this conversation, I want to talk about a math problem. And the math problem is very simple. So, grab your journals, get your Gator Scale journal or whatever journal you have. You need to write some things down if you can. If you can't, understood. Just tune in. So, what I want you to write down is two equations. First equation, 2 plus 2 equals 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. What comes to mind for you? Oh, it's 2 plus 4. It's easy. Like this math. It's basic math. Like, what are you talking about, Dr. Branch? Okay, smarty. On the other side of that paper, or under it, above it, wherever you want, write the equation 2 plus 2 equals 5. That perked you up a bit. So 2 plus 2 equals 5. What's the difference between these two equations? Again, that perfectionist mentality is right and what's wrong. That's a belief. You're entitled to it. But it's not about what's right or what's wrong. It's about what I think and what I believe. Because the difference between these two equations is one is a fact and the other is a belief. 2 plus 2 is a 4 is a fact. How do we know? Because we can prove it. It can be proven. But even if something can be proven, even if something is a fact, doesn't mean it's a fact to us if we're grounded in our beliefs. 2 plus 2 is 5 is a belief. Why? Because it can't be proven. But many of us believe it to be a fact, even if it's not. So I want you to think about this equation and equate it to anything in your life, because I'm pretty sure more often than not, the things in our life are based off of beliefs and facts. Let me give you an example. That junk drawer that you have, or that bag full of plastic bags, or that grease that's still on the stove from when you cooked last, or the magazines that's on the coffee table you ain't read, or that junk drawer, or that mail um, that's just sitting on the cabinet, on the counter, whatever it is that you just have sitting around, the dresses with the tags on them. Ooh, I'm stepping on toes. The shoes you keep buying, the liquor that's still in your cabinet, whatever it is that you still got, that you still do, is part of the beliefs. But for the sake of this episode, I just want to make it about the junk drawer. Okay. So I want to talk about facts and beliefs related to the junk drawer. Let's start from ground zero. Understand, if you have a junk drawer in your house, that junk drawer has followed you from birth to today. Everywhere you ever moved, everywhere you ever went, that junk drawer went with you. So how am I collecting things that don't work and moving this junk with me? It's because of my beliefs. That's it. That is all. It's my belief. My belief allows me to think that what I'm doing is working for me, even when it's not. Because how can these things work for me if they don't work? How can it work for me if it don't work? Right. So you got a TV remote to a TV you don't own anymore, instructions to items and appliances you don't even have, cell phone cases. That iPhone box, you done had a few iPhones since that box. Cords that don't belong to nothing, pennies, coins, you name it. It's in there and it's a mess. I just want to talk about it. You can feel how you want to feel, because our beliefs are based off of just that, how we feel. So if I'm living life based off of this junk drawer where I can literally go into my kitchen, open a drawer, and see the things that do not work, and I keep them there and I've had them there, imagine that's your literal junk drawer. Imagine the figurative junk drawer, the junk inside of us, the things that we still carry around that has no value or meaning besides the value and meaning that we give it. Think about the defense mechanisms, the beliefs, the arguing, the fighting, the screaming, the hollering, keying cars and cussing folks out, and all the unhealthy behavior patterns we have that was passed down to us from other people, mainly our parents or guardian of people that we were raised around or raised up with, our community, our culture, our background. There's a lot of things we picked up over the years that we still keep, just like that junk drawer that don't serve us. But the belief is, I'm going to need it one day. The reality is you don't need it anymore. You may have, and it served as protection to get you where you are, but now it went from protection to hindrance. It hurts you more than helps you. So I want to challenge you with this episode to reconsider the things that you have. And that reconsidering requires you to be willing to step outside your comfort zone and challenge your beliefs, because that's what it is. If it's not the junk drawer, it's the bag full of plastic, the plastic bag full of bags, right? The bag's just full of bags and bags and bags. And if you've got 100 bags, if I ask you to get rid of half of them or 99 of them, it will be a fight. The reason it'll be a fight is because anytime our beliefs are challenged, the first thing we do is defend. We put our boxing gloves, we put our boxing gloves on and we put them up, because we have to defend what we believe. Now, we finna go somewhere. Buckle up, buttercup. Let's talk about religion. Is it a fact or is it a belief? Is your religion a fact or is it a belief? It's hard for me to see that any religion is a fact if there's so many different religions. Who's to say who's right or wrong unless you've died and came back to told us how it is? And I don't know nobody who's ever done that. So therefore, it's a belief, and our belief is derived by the faith, whatever faith it is that we believe in. So we believe in something, even though we can't see it. That's what faith looks like. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a Christian, Southern Baptist, Jesus Christ, head of my life, all that. And it's my belief, and I'm entitled to it. And you're entitled to your beliefs. And that's my belief, and it will always be my belief. It will not change. And I'm open to consider beliefs versus facts because for me, growing up, there was a lot of things that was shared to me about the church, about God, about religion that I perceived to be facts, and I recognized they were just beliefs. And you're entitled to those beliefs. However, there are some beliefs that don't serve us anymore. And those are the beliefs that I want to challenge you to remove, just like the things that's in that junk drawer that don't serve you. It's okay to remove them. So let's talk about facts for a moment. Back to those plastic bags. The belief is I can't get rid of these plastic bags because one day I'm going to need them. My perspective, my opinion, my belief, that need is a poverty mindset. Because how much are the bags cost? If anything, people pay you to get rid of them. Right? So bags doesn't cost that much, but it's value to us. We give it value. And, a lot of times we're using these plastic bags for trash can liners in the bathroom, picking up dog poop, whatever. They make bags for those specific things, and you're not saving that much money. But your belief is, I actually am. And if you think about the junk drawer, if you think about these plastic bags, it's taking up space in your house. Same thing with us figuratively. These unhealthy behavior patterns is taking up space in our life, which caused us to push people out, push people away, hurt people, not forgive, not able to forgive ourselves, no apologies whatsoever. I don't know how. I don't do that. Take responsibility, make a decision, integrity, vulnerability, authenticity. All those things I do or don't do is based off of my beliefs, just my belief. Now, I want to share a story who we were, who we are, who we're becoming, who I was, who I am, who I'm becoming. I used to have the junk drawer as well, but I decided it doesn't serve me anymore. And when I got married, just for many other people who get married or get partnered, you bring your junk together. And fortunately for me, why my wife is a therapist as well, so I don't get away with nothing. So we had our junk drawers and we put our junk together and we had a conversation about this topic that you and I are talking about right now. And we decided this junk drawer stuff doesn't work for us anymore. And we got two small kids. Do we want them to have junk drawers as well? So we had to make a decision. And the decision was let's take a moment, let's take some time and just get rid of the things that don't work for us anymore. And that's exactly what we did. We just start getting rid of stuff piece by piece, one by one, until that junk drawer only had things in it that worked. So the junk drawer converted from a junk drawer to a utility drawer because everything in there we can use. So my sons, I got two boys, they're going to grow up with a utility drawer instead of a junk drawer. That's a game changer. That changes everything. So because my wife and I decided to make these changes, our kids and their kids is going to have a different lived experience than we have. Now that's just talking about the junk drawer, the literal one. Now, the figurative junk drawer, the stuff that's inside of us, to me, one way to start getting rid of things is therapy. Yeah. I'm a black male therapist who also has a therapist. You can consider me a unicorn, but I'm a black unicorn with a gold horn. Let's go. So I got to talk about therapy. I can't be a therapist and not talk about therapy. But before I talk about therapy, let's talk about my experience going to therapy for the first time. I was in my master's program in clinical mental health counseling a semester before I graduated. I was told all throughout my journey in the master's program, you need to experience therapy for yourself, especially if this is the work that you want to do. So I decided to schedule an appointment, scheduled it, canceled it, scheduled again, canceled again. Took that third time. I finally scheduled again for the third time. And this was the wellness center on campus where I went to school. And I finally decided, all right, I'm going to go to therapy. Mind you, I'm in a semester before graduating in my master's program. And I go to the local wellness center to see my therapist, to try therapy for the first time. And when I pull up at the building, I'm looking around to see who sees me going into this building. not even recognizing my own stuff related to it. But I'm going in here and I'm terrified of what if somebody finds out. I go in the building, it was time to sign up. On the sign in sheet, I put the name Clark Kent. That's my alias, Clark Kent, because I didn't want nobody to know I was there. And I went in, and at the time, my therapist was a black woman. I was surprised, and she was phenomenal. And I had a seat on the couch, and I talked to this woman like I was talking to Oprah. I shared so much with her that I didn't even know I was dealing with. It was one of the best experiences I ever had in my life. And when I finished that session and got a chance to get to know me in a new and different way, I decided I wanted to dedicate my life to this profession, especially to help people that look like me, specifically black men. Because if the stereotype and stigma around therapy was that deep rooted for me, even in the master's program in the profession, I can't imagine how it is for those who aren't even in that profession. Can't imagine how hard it is for everyday people, everyday men, everyday people of color specifically. Can't imagine. So I decided I'm going to change or shift that junk drawer of who I used to be and not experience therapy because it was life changing. It was nothing that I thought it was, even as a student. So I had to learn what therapy was and what therapy wasn't. And the first thing I learned, um, even as a student, was understanding our job as therapists is not to give advice. My job isn't to tell you what to do. You're the expert of your life. Who am I to tell you? So that's not my job. My job is to help you help yourself as a therapist. That is my job. So what that looks like is you're in the driver's seat of your own car and I'm on the passenger side holding the map up and messing with the radio. But many of us can't even drive our own cars. Why? Because we are in the trunk. Mm. I can't go where I need to go if I'm in the trunk of my own car. So therapy is a place that I can go to get out of the trunk and get in the driver's seat. Therapy changed my life and so many lives of the people that's going to be on this show, and so many lives of the people, family and friends that I've been connected with over the years. I've seen how they've grown and changed because they've done the work in therapy. Therapy allows you to go in that basement, the place where we don't really spend a lot of time. It's got a padlock on that door, a lot of broken things, a lot of hurt, pain, loss is thrown in that basement. We never go down to retrieve it. Therapy is where you can start unpacking those things. And as I unpack the things in my basement, I can make room and I can make my basement as pristine as the attic. I can make it as comfortable as the living room. But in order to do that, I got to get in there, get to the heart, get to the source, clean up some things, get rid of some things, move some things around. That's how we can become better versions of ourselves by digging into us, finding out who we are and who we are not, which is how therapy has helped me. And what therapy helped me do was peel back the layers. I look at us as people as an onion, like human beings is like an onion, because the core of that onion we can't see. But in order to get to the core, you have to peel back one layer at a time. And to me, once you discover the core, that's who you are authentically, uniquely, specifically. And many of us have no idea what that core is because we're impacted and covered by so many layers of people, places, and things that we've experienced from birth to where we are right now. Therapy gives you a chance to unpack. Therapy provides you with a safe space, a brave space to just be you, to someone who has a non biased opinion and perspective, who's trained to help you help yourself. Therapy doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg. More than likely, you're already paying for it with your insurance. There's a lot of therapists that do pro bono services. There's a lot of mental health agencies and resources out here, apps, virtual therapy. There's a lot of information out there, but it means nothing if I'm not looking for it. Breadcrumb. So I would challenge you, if you've never considered therapy, reconsider or just consider it. Try therapy. Like real talk. Hashtag try therapy. Just try it and see what happens. Last episode, I mentioned doing something new, different, uncomfortable. That could be something you could try to do. I tried it, I did it, and I've been going ever since, as much as I need it. And for many of you who's been in therapy for years, if you're still going and you've been there for years and you're really not growing or developing, 9 times out of 10, you just enjoy your time with your therapist, which is fine and cool, but you're not working on anything. Y'all just sitting back, keying, having a good time. You're paying for a friend instead of paying for a service. So if you're working with someone who isn't meeting your needs and you're paying for this service, it may be time to consider switching or evolving or upgrading or updating or choosing somebody else. Therapy is a service that you're paying for, and a lot of us aren't getting what we pay for. If that's the case, it may be time to shift or change. And one of the shifts or change that I feel as though is valuable and very important is fit. It's kind of hard to do therapy when I don't fit with my therapist. It's hard to do therapy when I can't relate or they can't relate or I just have a hard time connecting or building. Therapy can be like dating. Sometimes you got to meet a few of them here and there. You got to take a few of them out, like not literally take them out, but you got to try it out, see what works for you and what doesn't. And sometimes we try it one time and it's not a great experience and we never go back. I've never seen anybody do that with the McDonald's though. Ice cream machine broke. All right, I'll come back later. Have a bad service. All right, I'll go to another one. We give everybody second chances, but whatever it is about therapy, we don't. And that's often because of the beliefs and stereotypes that we have about it. We believe a certain thing, and if we don't have a great experience, then that must be it. 2 + 2 is 5. I want you to see how deeply rooted our beliefs are and how a lot of times our beliefs prevent us from living our best life. Think about the rules of engagement that you choose to live by. Let me give you an example. For many of us, you were taught and told what it means to be a man or a woman. These are beliefs. Because if we lined up 100 men and asked them, what does it mean to be a man? We would get 100 different definitions. Same for a woman. We would get 100 different definitions. So therefore, who's to say who's right and who's wrong? My challenge to you is to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. And only you know that. And if you don't know that, here's a great opportunity to find out. So I highly recommend trying therapy for anybody who feels as though there's something going on with my junk drawer, figuratively, and I'm ready to remove some things that don't work for me to become the best version of me. This is a way to help you do that. Therapy provides help, support, assistance. It's not the end all be all, but our mental health is just as important and valuable as our physical health. So it's nothing for us to go to a gym. It's nothing for us to go to a doctor, but it's a lot to go to a mental health professional because of our beliefs, not the facts, but the beliefs. So if you can benefit from going to the gym, you can benefit from going to therapy. Just my 3. So, story time. Talking about the junk drawer, right? But I want to go a little bit deeper and share my experience of the junk drawer related to my health, physical, not even mental. I shared the mental health. Now I want to share the physical health. So in my 30s, my late 30s, I ended up going to the doctor, and the doctor's like, "Hey, you seem to be in good shape. You're working out, but your numbers are off. High blood pressure, cholesterol. Like, what are your eating habits?" And I'm like, "Excuse me, doc." He said, "Yeah, what are your eating habits?" I was like, "Yeah, bacon, eggs. You know what I'm saying? Every morning." He said, "Excuse me, bacon, eggs every morning." I said, "Yeah, every morning." So based off of my background, my culture, my upbringing, bacon was like Porky the Pig was a guest at the house. Like he stayed at the crib. He lived with me, right? That's just how I grew up. 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week, I'm eating bacon and didn't recognize the health concerns that it had or the health impact that it had on me until my doctor brought it to my attention. And I didn't believe him at first until I started looking at my own numbers and then decided to do a little research on my own. So I got information and decided to dig deeper into it. And what I discovered was bacon was slowly taking my life. But I was resistant to it because this is all I knew at the time. And the doctor mentioned, hey, you may just want to consider a substitute. You don't have to give it up completely, but just try something different other than bacon. And I took his advice. And I decided I need to find a substitute. And that substitute was avocado. And I tried avocado, start eating more avocado, and recognize I like avocado better than bacon. Why? I don't feel any kind of way after I have avocado versus when I have bacon. So bacon used to be a resident in the Branch household. Now bacon is a visitor. He only show up every now and then. Just like our old selves, I highly recommend. How do I make the old version of me a visitor instead of a resident? Because the old version of me did some things or do some things or does some things that's not pleasing to the current and future version of me. So, what's interesting about me transitioning from bacon to avocado is a lot of things about me physically began to change. I didn't have headaches as much. My levels of cholesterol and hypertension changed, start working out more, and I ended up moving from New Jersey to California, the avocado capital of the world, in my opinion. Because the future version of me, he eats avocado. He ate avocado. The old version didn't. So when I moved to California, I was already ready. And guess what? My boys, my sons, they eat more avocado. They don't even deal with bacon. That's legacy. So now they're not growing up with this 5, 6 days a week eating bacon. They grow up 5 or 6 days a week eating avocado. It's the small changes. It's the things that we're willing to do or we're challenging ourselves to do to become the best version of ourselves that we can be. And by doing that, we're going to make an impact on the people, places, and things around us because that's what got us to who we are and where we are right now. The people, places, and things around us. If you think about it, we're going to be just like our parents, the complete opposite, or somewhere in the middle. What other choice do I have? This is all that I know. This is all that I am. This is all I have been until now. And today, you get to decide who you're going to be. So if you make that decision, that means you have an opportunity. Now, when I think about the three parallels, because that's what this podcast is about, who we were, who we are becoming, I think about you or me or us, human beings, right? When it comes to those three parallels, understand that your current self and your old self is always in a battle. They're in a state of battle. Like it's pay-per-view in Vegas, right? Packed arena. In the octagon, it's your current self and your old self. And the arena is packed full of people. Every seat is full. And every seat is every version of you from birth to where you are right now, watching to see who's going to win. The future version of you is outside the arena at the ticket booth trying to discover, should I get a ticket to this show or take my ass home? And whoever wins that fight in the octagon rules for the day, for that time. And to me, what I discovered, the best way is not to even fight with your old self, is to begin embracing your current self and getting to know your better self. By doing that every day, you give yourself an opportunity to be somebody different. So, as we close out, I want to offer you something, and that's life work. The life work I have for you this week is to do one thing. One thing is to go to that junk drawer, the literal one, and get rid of one thing that doesn't serve you anymore. Doesn't matter what it is. One thing that doesn't work. Ketchup packet, hot sauce, cords, clips, pins. Get rid of it. Receipts. Get rid of it. You bought that years ago. Bills from the 90s. Get rid of it. Doesn't serve you. And you can go even further and consider the people, places, and things that also carries junk. Just a little life work. Do with that what you will. The second life work that I want to offer you is to try therapy. All seriousness. Don't take my word for it. Do some research for yourself. Just YouTube, Google it. Just find more information about therapy than what you know now. And don't ask friends and family because they ain't going either, or they ain't been, or they ain't went. Or they may have had a bad experience and then share their bad experience with you. And you may believe that this is the only way. Again, 2 + 2 is 5. So I would challenge you to consider therapy. I don't care who you go to, go see somebody. Go see somebody. If you want to see me, that's fine too. That works. If you're located in New Jersey, state of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or the state of Georgia, I am accepting new clients. So feel free to reach out. If anything that I share or you feel as though I could be a good fit, reach out. Let's connect. Yeah, you can schedule a free 15-minute consultation. Let's get to know each other a little bit before deciding if I'm your therapist, because also it's a mutual decision. I get to decide if I'm your therapist as well. Just because you fit with me don't mean I fit with you. I'm honest. I'm real. And I love this work. I love this work because it's changed my life. And I love watching people change their lives. That's where this podcast came from. The work that I've done, the work that I do. I just want to help people get better at being who they are. If I can help you, don't hesitate. Reach out. If it's not me, doesn't matter. Don't hesitate. Reach out. That's your life work. This has been another phenomenal episode of the Three Parallels Podcast with your host, the Dr. Jason Branch, where we rediscover who we once were, we embrace who we are, and we make room for who we're trying to become. If this episode has been helpful for you, transformational, impactful, anything that you got that really hit home, share it, give it away. Don't keep this information to yourself, because you never know how it can impact somebody else. And you just never know how you impact someone just by being who you are authentically. In addition, the Three Parallels podcast playlist is available. Dive in, tune in on Spotify and Apple Music. One simple recommendation is before you hit play, hit shuffle. And within the first 3 songs, you're going to get some breadcrumbs. I will challenge you to take the information that you learn, that you gain, and apply it to your life immediately. Have a good day, good morning, good night, good week, good life. Peace.
Feeling overwhelmed? Searching for someone who truly gets it? At J. Branch and Associates, we provide mental health support for BIPOC communities, Black, Indigenous, and people of color, and others facing unique challenges. We understand the weight of generational trauma, the struggles of identity, and the pressures of being a part of an underestimated and overlooked group. At J. Branch and Associates, therapy isn't a one-size-fits-all. We create a safe, culturally aware space where you can feel seen, heard, and understood. Finding a therapist who truly fits you matters, and that's exactly what we're here for. Our team of highly trained licensed therapists bring compassion, empathy, and real-world experience to help you on your journey to healing and growth. We're committed to helping you become the best version of yourself. Ready to take the next step? Visit us at www.drjbranch.com for more information, or call or text 404-436-2540 to schedule your free 15-minute consultation. You can also book your first session today. Thank you for choosing J. Branch and Associates, therapists of color providing exceptional care to BIPOC communities, quality service, exceptional care from authentic professionals.